Guys, AC here. Welcome back to another review, and today it's going to be an exclusive review. YouTube exclusive review number 6 of the year. And as I've told you many times, I want to do 10 new fragrances, exclusive reviews a year. I'm on target, trust me. So, it's going to be Sultan Vetiver by Nishane Istanbul. I've reviewed one of the fragrances before. It's called Fan Your Flames. Do check it out. This is a very exciting house and it's got a big lineup, 20 odd fragrances. They only do extrait de parfum. Hence, their fragrances are quite expensive, about £3 an ml. Now, we're talking about Vetiver, and Vetiver happens to be one of my absolute favorite manly notes. I quite like Vetiver, I quite like leather, as you all know, and I quite like tobacco. These are my favorite notes. So, I got a 2 ml Notino sample. It cost me about £7.50 for 2 ml. That's good money, £3.75 for an ml, so it's not cheap. Now, before I embark on telling you about this fragrance, I'm quite an avid Vetiver collector. So, my collection involves Grey Vetiver, Tom Ford. We're talking about a Vetiver dominated fragrance, EDT. I've reviewed this, to check it out. So that's one. Next is world's most famous Vetiver, Guerlain Vetiver. This is vintage, 1990s vintage, I believe. Then Guerlain Vetiver Frozen. This is basically early 2000s vintage. Then I also have Creed's original Vetiver. I also have Dior Vetiver, which is quite nice. So we're talking about Vetiver royalty over here. Yeah, 5 of the most celebrated Vetiver fragrances you can think of is here. And Sultan Vetiver comes and destroys them, absolutely slays them. And I'm about to tell you about a fragrance which will absolutely, dazzle you. It's a dazzling Vetiver, one of the finest Vetiver fragrances you can imagine. So let's start. Sultan. The word Sultan is a Persian word which means regal or monarch or a ruler. And literally this is going to be the new emperor of Vetiver dominated fragrances. I'm telling you point blank. So, Sultan Vetiver, what does it do? I've got a spray here which is about 4 hours, and I've got one spray under my shirt. Actually, I've got 2 sprays under my shirt which is about 10 hours old. I just wanted to make sure that it develops with heat on my skin, and I wanted to see what it does so that I can give you a full picture. It's a very complex fragrance. I'm not bothering spraying another one because I think it will do very little value. The value of the fragrance is in understanding its transformations. So I'll tell you briefly what this does when you first spray. When you first spray, it's very smoky, it's leathery, spicy, and woody Vetiver. Why? Because this Vetiver fragrance has 4 types of Vetiver. I actually know of 4 types of Vetiver. So number 1 Vetiver, which I'm very familiar with, is Indian Vetiver. Number 2 that I'm very familiar with is Haitian Vetiver. Number 3 that I'm very familiar with is Bourbon Vetiver. And number 4 is Javanese Vetiver, which I have not smelled from essential oil bottles, so I do not know. So this one has got all 4 Vetivers. There's one at the top, then 2 Vetiver, 2 different types of Vetiver in the heart, and I believe there's 1 or maybe 2, not different types, but 2 mentions of Vetiver in the base notes. It also has notes like neroli to support Vetiver. The only thing this Vetiver doesn't do is Encre Noir like bitter darkness, because Encre Noir uses citrus to combine with Vetiver and goes into the dark gothic territory. This is not dark. So it starts off smoky, leathery, spicy and woody, slightly woody. Then it loses its leatheriness. There's leather in the base, but you smell it at the top. It loses its leatheriness, it loses its spiciness, and develops its greenness. And I can imagine that greenness coming from Bourbon Vetiver, which I believe is in the heart note. And this kind of greenness is what you get, which people are fan of in Guerlain Vetiver when you spray it. Guerlain vetiver uses tobacco, and it's after the first few minutes, which is where it's citrus heavy vetiver, it turns into tobacco and old man territory, old fashioned territory. That's the only problem I have with this vetiver, but I think it's a very fine vetiver. This is the most respected vetiver. It creates that greenness, but it lacks that sparkly oranginess. So that's the second transformation, where there's no woody leatheriness. It's green, it's still smoky, and it's very deep. Not bitter, but deep, very deep. The third transition is what I'm enjoying. Suddenly, from green, it develops into this slightly green, but very relaxing. That's the quality of vetiver. If you try vetiver essential oil, it's very relaxing. In fact, the use of vetiver in ancient India used to be along the ancient Indian palaces used to have these long corridors, yeah, and they would put curtains made of khas. Khas is the Hindi or the Urdu word for vetiver. It's basically nothing but grass of vetiver weaved into a bit of a curtain-like thing, and they would water it. So when the hot air passed through these curtains of khas, they would fill the palace with beautiful, smoky, earthy, grassy smell plus cold air. Yeah, that was the use of khas in ancient India. And obviously it's very relaxing, and I'm very, very sure about the smell. Whenever I smell it, I know that I'm smelling Indian vetiver. The third transition is what I'm at after about 4 hours. And it's beautiful, deep, relaxing, invigorating, and sparkly. The sparkliness is there. And this is typical Indian vetiver sparkle. It's unmatched in beauty, in depth. The depth of this fragrance is astounding. And I know from experience the fourth transition is when it becomes sort of a woody smell, the kind of vetiver that everybody talks about, the normal bourbon vetiver, when it's smoky, earthy and woody. And it also has nuances of warmth because they've got amber, slightly warm. So from green and relaxing, it still maintains the greenness, but woodiness comes up, and there's a little bit of warmth. So those are the four transitions, if you like. That's the fragrance journey. Now pros and cons. Number one pro, I have never smelled anything as complex when it comes to just vetiver dominated fragrance as this. As I said, this is the new emperor, and it's aptly named Sultan. This is the new Sultan of every vetiver you can imagine. And I've just shown you. My collection has about 25 different types of vetiver fragrances. These are the ones which are vetiver dominated. Sultan vetiver kills them, absolutely destroys them. Yeah. So this is the finest vetiver I have ever smelled, and that's the biggest pro. I couldn't praise this fragrance enough. Number two is the performance. It's unrelenting. 16-18 hours is not even it won't even break a sweat. Guys, I've put one tiny spray from this 2 ml decant about 4 hours ago. It's absolutely loud and clear. There is no assistance required. Yeah, loud and clear. There's no sign of weakening. Yeah, the one under my shirt is 10 hours old, and when I move, I can smell it. And the one under my shirt is actually in its second transition, which is where it becomes a bit more green, very relaxing scent. Yeah, so performance is unmatched, sillage unmatched, projection unmatched. So I wouldn't wear this on my shirt because this will absolutely gun up like a howitzer. It's that strong. In terms of downsides, I would say value for money. But then if you're smelling something like this, and if you're a big fan of vetiver and you've got original vetiver, this is cheaper than original vetiver, I think. But not per ml. Per ml, this is the most expensive. Probably Roja's vetiver extrait, which I haven't smelled, is the only one. And I know from experience that Roja's vetiver extrait is close to the EDP version of grey vetiver. So in terms of value for money, I would say this is low, but then it is to be expected. The complexity will tell you that this fragrance requires that sort of money. I'm happy to pay that kind of money. I'll tell you that way. The second downside, I would say, is wearability. I tried this in summer. It was so strong when it opened because it uses anise in the opening, and the leather. It was so strong that I regretted it. I sprayed it thinking I'm spraying a vetiver. I regretted it straight away. So I think it needs cool-ish weather. Anything less than 15 degrees would be fine. In terms of personality, guys, this is an uber confident fragrance. I'll tell you, this has amazing strength, and the strength of personality is just jumping out of it. And this is a very mysterious kind of a fragrance. This is no nonsense. The name Sultan is absolutely apt for this fragrance. There couldn't have been any other name for this fragrance. This is regal. This is proper emperor stuff. And this gives you that confidence, you know. You wear this fragrance, vetiver anyways is a manly note, and vetiver fragrances anyways give you that kind of a push, if you like. It enhances your personality. It's very suave note, done properly. Sultan Vetiver is basically taking it to another level where you are uber confident, and it's very mysterious as well. So that's the personality of the scent. Seasons I've covered, age groups. I'd say this is about 25 plus, 30 plus, I'd say. Erring on the side of caution, I'd say 30 plus. This is a mature suit and tie, you know, daytime occasion, nighttime occasion. If you have a very strong personality and if you're a confident kind of a guy, this will absolutely suit you for formal occasions. I wouldn't mind wearing this jeans and t-shirt. It just gives me that super oomph, very confident fragrance. One of the most confident fragrances I've reviewed recently. So I think overall marks, 8 out of 10. I'm removing 2 marks. A, very high price factor. £3 an ml, very expensive. But I wouldn't mind paying £3 an ml for this. And second is low wearability. So 8 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this exclusive review. And do test it out. This is a fantastic vetiver. It's a journey. You will love it. Hope you like the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.